Hey, I'm Carrie, and today I'm going to be walking you through my process of how to either fully set up your Fiverr gig for the first time, or if you're like me, kind of reset and refresh everything you've got going on. A little background about me really quick. I am a Fiverr Pro seller and a top-rated seller. I've been top-rated since 2013 with a tiny little hiatus in the middle. We can talk about that later if you want. And I took off some time for having my kid, kind of deciding what my writing work life is going to look like, and a lot of other stuff in my personal life. And now that I am back, kind of giving Fiverr a go again, I'm going to, put all of the work in here to get my gigs reset up the way that they used to be. I was earning up to $140,000 a year on Fiverr. A solid, consistent annual income for me was about $120,000. And I credit a lot of that success to the time and energy and strategy that I put into setting up my gigs and really making sure that my persona and appearance is really authentic to the way it is to work with me, so that it's really showing customers from the first impression that working with me and that investing in my content for them is really like a smart choice, a trustworthy choice, and really just the best choice, if we're being honest. Walking through, there's a lot of steps, and this is going to be a long video, so I encourage you to come back to it or pause as you get through steps if you want to kind of work alongside me. I have updated some of my gigs in some ways to be public and visible, but it's not done yet, and I've really been putting off doing that. So you can see I'm just in private mode right now really quick, which I'll talk about in a sec why. But you can see that I have a couple gigs that are technically up and ready. You technically can hire me for them, but why does it look like this? That must be wrong. Okay, if this is really what this looks like, this is showing me some... What the heck? That is so weird. Okay, like I said, I've been doing this since 2013. I have seen so many changes on the site. When I first started, it was truly Fiverr, as in everything is $5 a Fiverr. And the site has clearly completely transformed over the past 12 years. And I have been right there for that, kind of rolling with the punches and seeing how I need to change things to adapt as the gig economy expands and grows and kind of takes on more of this truly professional work style. And being top rated and pro verified does give me some account features that you might not see. So if some things are not visible on your account, I don't know for sure anymore exactly what you can see as a new seller or a level 1 seller. I can't see, for example, what's in your category. Some of your categories might have slightly different features or even just tools or requirements that are different than me in the writing space. And the last thing I'll say is that no matter what I do, there's a realistic chance that even if I did it less good than you, the fact that I have this long history of experience, that I have all of this really robust credibility built into the platform, I can get away with doing things that are not truly like peak perfection, whatever, because I have other things to leverage. So as you're getting into this process, if you don't have credibility to leverage, like your level is low, you don't have many reviews, you don't have much data to work with that the site can really tell that you are or are not a trustworthy seller to push to buyers, like those kind of things, you're just going to have to do other things to compensate. But at the end, the way I see it is it's just a balancing act. Either you're relying on credibility that is already, achieved, or you are building credibility through things that you can control. Hopefully that made sense. Okay, so here's the list we've got going on. I made a list of all the things that I think I need to kind of tackle through this process. I also made a gig a couple years ago. I mean, I've made several. You should check out my channel. There's, I think, a whole playlist for like new advice for Fiverr sellers. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is this research. What I'm going to do is just kind of walk through the process of looking at my competitors and seeing what they're doing so that I can do the opposite. Especially with colors, like my brand colors right now, going back to where I was, is this blue color and then also orange. So this nice like tealish color, light blue and orange, and then kind of the pink of my shirt, because those were not colors that were being used when I set up this kind of brand for myself a couple years ago. That was really just, I felt like it was authentic to me. That's kind of step number one, most important. I felt like it reflected me and what I want to kind of put out there visually. But it also was not being used. So especially this blue color really wasn't something that other people were doing. And that alone is something you're trying to look for to see what can stand out. You don't want to look like everybody else, because if you look like everybody else, then there's no point in looking at you in the first place. One of the things here in the buyer's experience, I want to kind of see how they would go about finding someone. And that would be different on mobile, which in a perfect world, again, you should. I'm not going to. But you needing more credibility and more like precise take chargeness than I necessarily even need to. Or maybe I do need to. I don't know. You should also go through mobile. And like I recommend doing some sample orders and just walk through, find someone that you like and see if you can even just say, hey, I'm trying to walk through a sample order and kind of see what this looks like from the customer side. Can you just do a $5 custom offer for me? I don't even need anything. I'm walking through, and give them a little tip order. If they take it, they might think it's weird. Who knows? But it's a good experience for you to see what the buyer's side looks like, especially if you haven't purchased before or if you're new. So here they have the most popular general categories here. AI services, you. So writing translation is here, also popular services. This is things to note. So again, you're just kind of looking to see what Fiverr is promoting and what that could cross over with what you're doing. Okay, so the homepage really is useless. Let's go here. Writing and translation. This is helpful to see, again, priority-wise, what is at the top of their list. No, it's not alphabetical. That was dumb that I thought for a sec this was alphabetical. So again, top left, how we read. Top left is going to be the most important part of what they're promoting. The way that they shape their categories is, again, intentional for them. And that's typically, in my experience, based on what they see people are offering, but is not already like housed within a gig category. And the umbrella of how all of the gig categories and services are laid out is really complex. And it would be a hard job to be able to organize, I think it's millions now of gigs that are up. I mean, you can see an example of that here in this little drop down, which I'll take a screenshot of. Being able to organize these in a way that covers everything that is available and is clear to buyers who need to find what they're looking for and doesn't overlap in the wrong way. It's kind of like cannibalization for keywords, that you don't want multiple keywords directing to different pages so that you are splitting your own traffic essentially, and then you can hurt your own search rank. Yeah, interesting. Make sure that you are familiar and taking some time to look through this list and kind of see where you need to be, specifically putting your gigs in what category and which categories appear to be more popular. You can see also, for example, when you click on a category, how many there are. That's a really important thing to note because it's not a deal breaker. Obviously, articles and blog posts, it appears, is the most popular writing category. And again, all of these examples will be for writing because it's for me and I'm walking through it, but you're going to do something different for you. So 37,000 results, 37,000 gigs that are trying to catch your attention. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. Like this is in comparison to 6,400. So drastically less competition, that's worth noting. That doesn't mean that it's a deal breaker to go into articles and blog posts. It also doesn't mean that you have to do articles and blog posts just because it appears to be the most popular. There is a lot of guessing that has to happen and just some intuition on, okay, there's 37,000 results. I don't know the math. I'm not a math person. I don't do numbers, which we've talked about. I'm going to prove how not mathy I am. So 6,400 times, no, not times 3, times 5? Sure, we'll round. So it's about 5 times more articles and blog post gigs than there are in website content. Do I think that there's 5 times more buyers in that category? That's really the question that you're trying to intuit. And even within that, then I'm not really competing against 37,000 people. I'm competing against 30,000 people who are in a high-end price range, for example. So by just setting, which this isn't even me, but high-end, I mean, I'm saying I'm priced higher than this. Even if I just select high-end, which just essentially cuts the list into 3 bundles, that already more than halved the numbers of competitors. So again, I'm just saying, as you're exploring the site and looking at all of this data of number of competitors and trying to figure out what the audiences for that, and really like how many people are directly competing against you, or where to find a niche in here to stand out as your own service that is not in direct competition against someone you really can't compete with. For example, like if you're brand new, these are ads, I hate that. But I guess I'll say it. I mean, it's still at the top. If you're competing against Georgia and she has 800 reviews and 4.9, it's like, and you have 0, you are really not, unless you do something yourself to build that credibility and to make a wow moment, a strong first impression, you're not competing against her. Let's be honest. So again, this like search parameter thing really tells us a lot of information. We'll get to pricing later, because again, this is going to take forever. There's just so much like to look through if you're really trying to set up your account fully and thoughtfully and strategically. I'm as quickly as I can while I'm talking, gonna put in the budget value that it autofills. Don't drag. Because that does, I'm sure that they're all like way too low to really be relevant to me compared to what I charge, which is a lot, because I'm good and it's worth it, but also because I'm trying to like kind of weed out certain types of buyers. Oop, that's not what I want. What's a better way to do this? Okay, again, like thinking, how does a customer get where they're going? They can literally search website content, which then gives you multiple categories. So it would make sense. Again, example, people putting their stuff in the wrong category. If you're selling website content, but it's in the articles and blog post category, like that doesn't make any sense. But there is a world in which SEO writing does overlap with website content. So you might make a personal choice that you would rather be in the SEO writing category, which has less competition, even though it's not exactly the direct search term keyword that someone's looking for. So I will put website content as the category, and let's do budget here. So you can see that this has already changed. For a website content project, high end is at least $100 or above. So as you're framing your pricing strategy, which again we'll get to later, this is a relevant thing to look at, and it's not always going to stay the same. But knowing, for example, if you wanted to compete in the mid-range category for pricing, and let's say that you wanted to be at the low end of the mid-range, that if someone was clicking on here and they said, I don't really want to spend that much, I want mid-range, that you might want to price at maybe not exactly 45, but 50, 55, instead of being at, for example, 35, because here we have 1,700 results for mid-range, or value, if I apply that, is 2,200. So literally just choosing 50 versus 40, you got rid of 1,000 people that you're competing against. And instead of being at the high end of cheap, you became the low end of mid. So the way that this search parameter works can give you not a lot, it can give you some control about how you choose to price yourself in a way that is minimizing competition and kind of improving where you fall in the pricing. I didn't know where that sentence was going. Okay, next up I wanted email copy. Let's see where that one falls. I assume this will be less. Ooh, surprising. I'm really genuinely surprised that where was I screenshotting to? Doesn't matter. Genuinely surprised that this is high end is even higher than website content. Another general pricing strategy, as I kind of doodle around the site and talk at the same time, which is very hard for me to do, honestly. What even are my other services? Here, let's get a regular window open. What was I gonna say? Literally, what was I gonna say? It was gonna be good too. Okay, so these are the 4 that I have up right now. Oh, descriptions. Yeah, I love writing product descriptions. I think it's so fun. It's just like, I actually made a Fiverr course for that if you want to. You can find it on Fiverr Learn, a course about description writing that I remembered. Let's see if I can hold on to 2 thoughts at once. It doesn't matter. I don't need to tell you why I like descriptions. If you want my course on Fiverr Learn, it's compelling e-commerce descriptions. I really enjoy writing that kind of thing. Okay, so the thing I was thinking for pricing, one of the general tenets that I hold and have seen from customers in terms of like how you get away with charging more, like how you can validate your pricing to a brand, is really the amount of revenue that comes back. That sounds like such a silly thing to say, like it's literally ROI, return on investment, but it is, like, it's so important. And so you can, for example, if you communicate it well, tell a company that their blog, for instance, if it really is increasing their SEO score, it's driving more traffic, you're educating buyers, you're building a funnel, you're like convincing them to purchase from you with the right blog, with a blog strategy, with keyword strategy, with evergreen content that's going to continue to be a resource for them on their website and building authority. That does enhance the amount of money that they are willing to spend, and thus you can charge in there. Whereas, for example, an email, they would typically be more willing to pay more for an automated email campaign than they would for a time-sensitive newsletter, for example, because unless that time-sensitive newsletter is going to have substantial ROI for whatever reason in their strategy, it's not going to be something that is evergreen, that is continuing to drive sales, that is continuing to drive revenue. And for that reason, their investment in it is likely not going to be as high. So that's why my gut assumption was that email would not have as high of pricing here. I'm also trying to not be too like writing specific, but again, this is for me as a writer. So again, looking at kind of Fiverr's assumption of what's the most important or popular in this business marketing copy section, it's interesting that product descriptions is in the middle, whereas, but also press releases is down there, and that was on the front page. So I'm telling you, it's not a perfect science. Again, as you're deciding what to sell, this might, besides like giving you pricing references for things you've already decided to sell, that being helpful, this can also be helpful in helping you decide what to sell, what you think you could make the most money at. Again, authentically to you. I'm not trying to sell you a get rich quick scheme. I'm not trying to tell you like to decide what category to put your AI chatbot in, whatever. I'm not saying that. Authentic to you. Within that, you have a choice of where you think things are going to go and where they are going to make the most money / accurately and completely compensate you for your skills. Okay, I'm going to screenshot it and then make it small. And what that kind of forces your brain to do is to really like look at what is the most eye-catching, what are patterns, and what truly draws your attention. That sometimes when I'm trying to be too analytical about it, I will make like logical decisions based on what I think it's really going to be versus what actually catches your brain. Okay. So even just looking at this here, we can see there's a lot of green and not too much blue. Again, that like light blue that I'm using really is not a color. Some of the like pale ones are kind of fading out. This one is strong. It just looks like professional. Like compared to this looks to me, especially as someone who's pricing high. So much of my advice is like for high priced professional buyers, but this looks cheap and trying too hard. And this looks like that guy's confident. There's something about the cleanliness and the balance and the like, the depth in where his shading is and the color grading. It just like, yeah, that's impressive. This also like too much text. It doesn't look thoughtful. I was going to say, because again, as I'm like rediscovering the features of the site, I was about to say, oh, the ads must not let you have a carousel. But that's interesting that he doesn't have a carousel. He doesn't have multiple images on his gig. I cannot believe if that's true that you don't see the that's insane. I'm baffled that you don't see the pictures on here at the top. That's insane. I mean, it's like, it's not whatever, but that is so weird that they took those off. And I wonder if that's just for writing categories. So the way that it used to be, I mean, if you see my old videos, you would see it. It must just be because it's a writing category, and it was admittedly kind of useless to like have a bunch of like pictures and videos at the top of your screen for writing categories because it's like so hard to like visually convey writing. Let's say infographic design, for example. I don't want to click on an ad. Maybe I do. I'll make them pay for me. Okay, we're gonna click on this random one. Okay, so this is how it used to look. It must just be, that's so weird. I'm glad that I did this, I guess. This is how it used to look, basically. You had your image carousel up here. You had your 3, and then you get into, or maybe it's 4 for them. I don't know. Again, things will be different across categories. I can't make perfect statements about that. And then you had your samples from customers. And then it was the gig description. And then it was your seller section. Then your portfolio, this is looking familiar, and then your packages down here to compare, like, which is slightly more expanded than the little like mini version up here to order. Recommended. Don't push people to other things on my gig. Thank you. FAQ and then review. So this is what I was expecting it to look like, and I am shocked, aghast. I don't know. That's not what this looks like for writing, because it's just so much text. Like how, I mean, and again, I know as a writer, you have to use writing to sell, but the reality is that writing in every capacity, anywhere now, is built around visual supports, and that we use visuals and layout and etc. to support that. Like even the fact that you have your description here as the top thing and it doesn't even give you the whole, you have to expand. And then here you have the picture, which for someone who has, I don't know where I have too many tabs and all look the same. So now here, this is showing me that my pictures are not as important. They're just not. And they used to be really important in the writing category. So again, so I literally hate this layout. This is icky. And then it's just a full screen, like, bleh, yell at you. And then your 3 carousel images. Weird. Okay, so looking at if you're in the writing category. Description, your seller thing. It doesn't include your little one-line bio thing. It just gives you like stats. So again, if you don't have orders completed, you've got to like find other ways to support that credibility because you won't have it there. Why does this look different? Oh, that's not his gig. That's his description. Again, so weird. I don't know why they did this. So your description for yourself is so important, which that's on my list to change. That's so fucking stupid, man. And then it's like, oh, this person's a pro. They're an expert in all this stuff. That's not what you're trying to buy. You're trying to buy this specifically right now. And then, oh, you have to expand the whole thing because it doesn't show you. Like, this lack of control, which I know that's like the standardization of working on a platform. I'm losing my energy here. I'm losing my life force. This lack of control just is what sucks about like even trying to go back on Fiverr and like play the Fiverr game, because like it's just stupid when they force things on you that are not strategic. Like, this page sucks. This page design sucks. Is it because I'm in a small window? Nope. Okay. Well, that's good to know, I guess. What was I even doing before I got so distracted? Perk up, have a sip of tea. Look at this cute mug that my grandma thrifted to me. She was going to get rid of it. It's like tiny 3D raccoon bathing its little baby raccoon in a pond. It's very cute. Cheers. Most eye-catching on each one, we're going to I literally did this first, and then my logical brain says, ooh, I like this guy. It's very clean. But this orange is strong, and like having it split on the bottom versus the top is not something that other people are doing. Here, this pulls my eye, but also that neon, but I don't think that the neon for me as a brand is what I want. I do appreciate that this color does really foil. It's a foil for these darker things down here, but there's just nothing, there's not a strong moment to it. I don't know, either the pink or the yellow. Again, like the warm tones are kind of a little rare on here because there's so much green and there's so much blue. This neon, that like really full violet color. You can see he has a video with him as the, what's that called? Thumbnail, which I typically recommend, and I'm sure I will continue to do, that you set a thumbnail in your video that matches like a true gig image that you would want to be the first impression. But it is worth noting, because it's so common on here, that everyone else has one of these very stylized gig images, that it does look different. It does look different for him to just be like mid-speaking in a video. Like, you know it's a video. And that, you know, maybe based on what's happening now, that's a thing to do. But I do, I'm talking and thinking at the same time, as we know. And the thing he's kind of missing out on is that your gig image is a chance to add twice the text. You have the text in the gig title, which we'll get to down here. This video is going to be a bajillion hours long because it's going to take me a bajillion hours to do it. I'm sorry. That's what this is. Real talk. So in your title, that's your first impression. But the most important thing is that it's also paired with an image. So you can say twice as much information by including it on here. So this is an example, as I get distracted by myself. Write enticing product descriptions, and then this just says product descriptions. And this honestly is so small that it doesn't really, you really just have such a small moment to make it shine. And so, for example, this person putting Amazon product description, and then I'll write a kick-ass Amazon product description. You're saying the same thing twice. You had an opportunity to diversify your message or to add nuance to your message, and that just seems like a wasted opportunity if you're not going to say anything else. And also just style-wise, this makes no sense. Their name is Amy, which there's like two people in this picture, so I guess they could be like, we're a couple doing something. But why is this a man? Your name's Amy. Doesn't make sense. This like chalk thing makes me think of children. Do you want it to look or sound like it was written by a child? And doesn't have anything to do with you. And you can see the most common layout. Again, we're looking for themes, we're looking for norms, we're trying to break that and do something different while also being authentic to ourselves. You can see that the most common thing is to put your picture on the right with your text on the left, picture on the right, text on the left, picture on the right, text on the left, picture on the right, text on the left. So this person did not. They broke from the norm and they put theirs on the left, which I, back in the day, put mine on the right. And who knows if I did that because everyone else did and I just didn't notice, or everyone copied me because I'm so copyable. I'm also like speeding. Again, if you need to do this perfect, you're going to do this more perfect than me. Okay. That is your goal. So I looked at one category at 60 gigs. You need to look at all of your categories and like 100 gigs, and you need to really like be doing a stronger, deeper dive to truly get your strategy in line. If color, for example, is the one thing that you can control as a new seller, and that having whatever that like gut intuition perfect color is to catch attention and make sure that you are seen out of the competition, if that's the one thing you can control, then you gotta do it. Very few people have videos. This alone is a standout feature. Also noticing strategy here. If you had a dark background with this little dark video button, it's not going to stand out as much in comparison to having this lighter background where the video button goes. It's also important looking at this, what things get covered up. And for this, I will also look on mobile. Because you can see that the upper right corner, it's also worth noting that if you have multiple items in your carousel, not items, pictures, that your carousel dots showing that is center bottom. So you're trying to find where is a safe space on the image for you to put this information so that it stands out. If it's important to see, for example, your video button, for example, your dots, you don't want that to be overlapped because that is a differentiator. Again, if you have nothing else, if you're taking every opportunity you can to put yourself out there with the very best, most impressive, most ready to be engaged with way. For example, this person's buttons right here showing they have multiple carousels is not as clear as this person's button because of the white text directly behind that. And I know that sounds like such a tiny little detail, but again, if that's all you have, you need to be looking for those tiny opportunities to stand out, because this is a way for someone to engage and look at you before they've even decided to click. And at every single step, you're trying to get them, how can they see you? How can they engage with you? How can they know you? Even before they've decided to click, before they've made any actual action. What can you control? Not having that at all is a choice, and it's not a good one. Putting text right here where you know it's going to be behind your carousel dots, it's a choice. It's not a good one. They used to have a lot of these like badges on your picture, which they don't anymore, which is good because again, you're just like losing usable space. So the Fiverr's Choice thing on here and the Pro, again, that sucks because it's like using my usable space. And also Fiverr's Choice, I don't know if you get Fiverr's Choice, if that gets rid of a Pro badge, like which one's higher in their hierarchy. Don't know, don't care. And the way that most people are, you look at a picture before you look at text. You just get so much more information. It's the whole like a picture's worth 1,000 words kind of vibe. So yes, your description is really important, and especially in a writing space because you're literally selling writing, but this picture is massively massive. So you can also tell that the way it's cropped on mobile looks different than it does on desktop. And I know I'm getting so in the weeds here, but again, it matters. If you don't care, skip. If you do care, stay. You can see that in the full version, he has his full face. He has Walmart. It's technically kind of cut off here, but on mobile, this is completely cutting off at least, I don't know. I don't have a way to measure this. a centimeter. I don't know how to measure this, but you know what I mean. Like a whole letter is getting cut off of here. So that also means that your safe space is closer to the center than you think it is. You want the whole text to be visible, and that's something you've got to be thinking about while you're in the process of designing. Okay. I hate this, and it must be done. I hope you're enjoying this, honestly. Like, if you can be excited about it, you should be. This, like, ugh, this is killing me. This is so confusing to me and ugly, and I hate it, and I like refused in my subconscious to like accept that they truly have shared. But again, looking at this, you can see where I have space here. I have space here when there's a video button. This is open. I should move this down now that I know that that Fiverr choice thing is much more broad across the top. And if I have those carousel buttons here, they are not great because it's against that like pink light color of my shirt. So all of those things. Try to get your details together. Where was I going? Price. Okay. I hate this. I hate this. Why am I doing this? It's just so much work and I don't want to do it. It's just showing me like all of the icky parts of the platform. Part of what I do about what I love what I do is like on Fiverr versus Upwork or most other comparison platform sites, I really find peace or whatever with that. I say what I'm going to do, and people who stumble there based on, you know, my strategy and SEO and whatever, if they resonate with me, they buy from me. And it's like I made the choice up front to promote myself in a certain way, to visually express myself in a certain way, to literally express myself in a certain way over video and show them like what it's going to be like to work with me. And that I don't have to go out and chase them. I'm not like, once I've done the setup, I'm not competing with other people. I'm not trying to like write responses to pitch myself. And that gives me a lot of peace because those are the things that I dislike the most about freelance work and having to like continually generate business. I just really, it's a good workflow for me to be able to put myself out there, do this work up front, be strategic, be authentic, and let people just like come to me if it's a good fit. And if it's not, then it wasn't meant to be anyway. So doing this is rough for me because it just reminds me of how much competition I have to do and how much like icky, you know? Okay. I'm going to leave price. I guess I'll just, I don't like this. Okay. I'm just going to write down the from prices. So the way that Fiverr's pricing in the search system works is that you have just from basic package. And also this used to be different, and I don't know if it still is, but there was a world in which it would pick a package for you based on like what you had been searching about and like your history a bit. So it would say like recommended for you, like standard package, this much dollars. And this now, where did I just see? I think I closed the tab. It'll say like recommended for you and it'll open to a package, but it doesn't look like anymore. Like, here's an example of someone who has a seller video. Chris does. We haven't seen that yet. That's also on the list of things to do because there's a lot to do. So it looks like all the pricing is just what it was. I don't know if they were just testing that feature for a while of just basic package. Oh, interesting. I don't know if this is only auto-playing because it's an ad or if it's auto-playing because it just picked one on the page. I don't think it's done that yet. Hey, Carrie the Future. I was just being dumb. Apparently, I don't know how I didn't see that. Now when you scroll over a gig that has a video, it'll start auto-playing. So the takeaway here, which I should have figured out and I didn't, is that subtitles or captions are even more important on those videos, so that if it starts auto-playing just the image from your video or the video of your video without audio. People can still understand what you're saying and get something out of it, even though they haven't actually clicked to watch the video and to hear your voice. So make sure to put captions, and let's get back to the video. Okay, let's see. I don't even want to really include the ad prices because I don't have any control over what's there, and I personally do not want to pay for ads unless I have to, which I have yet to have to. I had tried Fiverr ads. They used to be called promoted gigs. Briefly when it first started several years ago, and I had like gotten a credit from Fiverr themselves to like test it out and try to give me a positive impression. And it was a waste. And again, it goes back to like my philosophy is I'm going to control what I can control, and I'm going to put myself out there in a way that hopefully resonates with people. And if it doesn't, then it's not for me, you know. And I encourage you to do the same. I know that it can feel kind of, I already wrote that one. I also don't like doing the ads because then if it pops back up again, I wrote it twice. But someone did technically see it twice. I don't know. It can feel a little like emergency mode or like threatening. I have to do this and I have to do it right. And I'm also kind of pitching that a little bit because I'm like, you need to take control of what you can control. So it can be tempting to think you have to pay for ads, or you have to pay for Seller Plus, or you have to pay whatever for whatever, or you have to offer free services, or you have to price low, or you have to blah, blah, blah. But there is a world in which you do all of this control over what you can control, and you get to stay true to you. You know, the only thing AI would be good for that it's not? I want to be able to say, put this list of numbers. Oh, crap. Put this list of numbers in ascending order. How is there not a tool for that? Is there a tool for that? And I'm just dumb because that's the only thing I want AI to do is like literally a menial task that like a calculator, you know, level of intelligence should be able to do. Because I don't want to have to do it. Or put this list in ascending order and tell me if there's any repetitives, like how repetitives. I'm a writer, I promise. Okay, now I'm gonna find some people who I think I'm gonna give them like kind of case study vibe competition. That doesn't make any sense. So Georgia and I I haven't talked to her for years. Georgia and I do not share the same approach to our business. As of the last time I spoke with her, she was outsourcing to a team, and I did not feel like was super transparent about that, which if you've seen my other content, I have a problem with that. I don't know if that's still happening. I don't know. It looks like she's doing a good job based on what's here. But she is, I think, close to a competitor for me, even if we do not see eye to eye on how we do what we do. So I'm going to pick her. I guess, sure, Chris, kind of. Alexa weirdly looks familiar from a couple years ago. Dion. He worked with me a couple years ago for some strategy advising. He also, Seller Pro, he and I do not have the same style or approach, but I respect what he's doing. Oh, there's me. Only took too many pages to get here. That's brutal, but it is what it is. You can also see seller details here. Also interesting to note, they can pick country, languages spoken, available now if you're really, again, things you can control. If you can control being online and fiddling around on your computer and being present in your account, that drastically increases your visibility of being seen. If you were a new seller, for example, there would be 500 people you're competing with, or online, out of all sellers, you would be one of 70. So again, things you can control is kind of what you're looking for. Okay. Oh, a squirrel. Squirrel outside. So looking at, I've already kind of written down general price that is consistent. Again, I was only looking at one of my categories, but it does give me a general idea of kind of like baseline, where do I need to be? And again, do better than me. Look at this in all of your categories. I'm being lazy because I am losing my life force here. I don't want to see how much higher priced I am than everyone else and then have to feel bad about it in my head, because I don't have to feel bad about it. I don't. What was I talking about? Oh, extras. Okay. So looking at website content, for example, all of these, I'm not going to be my best case study because I don't care enough to go gig by gig. It's also going to take 1 billion hours to make this video, and you're probably getting bored, right? But we're looking for extras that they are offering. Where's your package? None, basically. Oh, this is seller page. See, this is so frustrating because like the seller page and the gig page look so similar that it's like, it makes it harder to navigate the site. Like this looks like this. That looks like that, right? Like those are so close. And I can't do that. Okay, that's useless because I can't see their actual gig extras until I log in, which I don't care to do on my little phantom ghost run. If you're logged into your account and you can click on continue, this will show you where the custom gig extras are that are not like, again, I'm losing my life force because I hate how little control you have in here. The only ones that are shown as gig extras that are customizable with your order are the ones that Fiverr has Fiverr created so that Fiverr can make their search parameters more standardized. And I understand from their perspective why that would be helpful. But to me also, the custom gig extras that you decide to offer that are not just these are really important for the customer experience and can also further help customers see how they can customize and kind of build a package that is truly built for them without needing a custom offer, which if you're new to the Fiverr thing, the custom offer idea might be a lot. And I think I have another video about that somewhere. But it sucks that you can't see that on the gig page, which I guess is also just telling me that it's not as important as it used to be, or that I thought, because I swear you used to be able to see that on the gig page, even before needing to log in and going fully through the payment ordering process. Okay. All right. So descriptors. We're trying to look for standout words that most important is authenticity. I'll say that again and again and again and again. It has to match what you do, what you are, and why someone should order from you, not just literally what it is that you do. Because if the truth is, write website content and be a copywriter, all of your competitors in your category are writing website content and they are copywriters. So I'm not hating on Victoria at all, just saying as an example. There's no you in that, right? And I know that this is just the title, but again, because the picture in this example too, again, Victoria, I'm sure you're lovely, not hating on you, no judgment, but teaching here, she also is just putting website content on her gig. So all this tells me, website content. I already knew that when I went into a category called website content, looking for website content. That's kind of a missed opportunity where you could be telling someone something more about you. So authenticity number one, but we're looking for things that are convincing as well, strong, and also explains as much as possible and as few words as possible. And again, I have a video that is much more in depth about how to kind of choose your adjectives and descriptors a little bit more. I'm pretty sure it was a video, I keep calling it a gig, a video where I went through and did a sample pretend search or something, or maybe I was actually, I don't know. Good luck finding it. If you find it, comment it in the link below, please. comment it in a link below. See, I literally feel like I'm losing brain cells and I'm losing my will to live. But like, I hope this is helpful for you, and it's gonna be helpful for me, but oh my God. Whatever that video was, I kind of was showing examples of like this versus that, like the words that you choose and how you choose to strategically define and describe yourself can say more than one thing at once, and saying more than one thing is really the most important thing. You want the most minimal writing that you offer, the most minimal visuals that you offer, whatever it is, to say as much as possible so that you get the strongest first impression. So let's see, we have elevating, original. Original literally is one of those things that technically means two things. It means unique, not copied. It is original. It also means original, as in a fresh perspective, a thing you haven't thought of before. Like those, that's an example of kind of two things in once. But the original as being unique, original I think is better than unique. Unique is just like, I didn't steal it. Oh my God, Carrie, shut up. Just kidding, Carrie, I love you. Stop wasting time on writing and audience research. So the stop wasting time vibe, I'll do it for you. Grabs attention, gets results. I think this is actually not helpful for me, but I want to kind of walk you through an example of just what this might look like for you, especially if you're new and you really don't have an idea yet of what your brand needs to look like and what you need to kind of market yourself as. If the marketing of yourself does not feel intrinsic to you, this will be a task. And for me, I think that the marketing side of it is something that's really intrinsic to me. And oh, this is nice. I didn't notice that. Now they say total orders completed. That's new. It used to be like per gig. All right, let's see. Carrieblogger. How many do you have now? I forget. Oh. See, that's so dumb too, man. They used to have it so if you put in someone's name and then it would say there's no gigs. Do you want to look for a user instead? They took it off. They're not improving the buyer experience on the site, and I hope someone on Fiverr watches this and sees. So here, mine says authentic, honest collaboration is everything. Those three words, collaboration. I want people to feel like they are collaborating with me to like produce a vision. I want them to trust me, and trust is not a thing I can demand of them, but it's a thing that I can put in their minds as a thing that they can do. So by saying honest and authentic, I probably should add something about the humanness. That's kind of another really important thing, and that the whatever, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay. Promises, again, you're looking at like, what are people promising? I'm losing brain cells. I'm losing the will to live. I don't know how much longer I can look at these people's gigs, even though they're like good. What are their promises, right? One guy, he said, grabs attention, gets results. Like that's his promise. We've got the generate sales, which is not something that I'm confident like pitching or like promising. I would rather promise my writing. I would rather promise what I do, not how someone could potentially use it, because what I've seen over the past 12 years is that you will not believe how many dum-dums in the world take a good thing and ruin it. And I'm not even saying that like, I mean, it sounds judgmental and there is some judgment. Like it like almost hurts my feelings. Like people, because sometimes I would just go look. Like I know the name of the brand. I know what I wrote. So I would go look and see like where it got put in. And it's like they would make a bunch of changes after the fact, like for themselves. They didn't ask for a vision, but they would change it. Even after they said they were so happy. And it was just like, you are destroying this. Or like where they would put it on their website like makes no sense, or that they would like make changes and like misspell keywords. And I'm like, the point of this was okay, it's not story time, but apparently highly it is. I would recommend using promises that are based on promising what you will deliver, not promising what the buyer will achieve when they implement, because unless you have control over the implementation, that sometimes can be a pain point for someone if they said, hey, you promised this would generate sales. And in the back of your mind going, yeah, but that was a fucking stupid product that no one wants, and it's like 12 times more expensive than it needs to be, and your brand is awful, and you didn't even put it in the right spot on your website. Like, of course it didn't generate sales. It was never going to generate sales, but like you did a good job on like what you could control for them in that process. And that's just kind of encouraging problems. Okay. I already found my standouts. This is you, because you're better than me, right? We've established that. I'd recommend making a list of like the links to people that you specifically think are standouts or that like inspire you in some way that you want to like replicate something they're doing. Like, steal the idea, make it yours. Don't just direct copy, because that doesn't work. Like when you are competing, again, credibility wise, if someone who is clearly like more credible than you is doing something, and then you, not having credibility, copy what they're doing, all that's left is a comparison of the credibility, right? And if you were at a point of like not knowing how to like make it your own, you're probably not even going to copy it well. Let's be honest. And that just makes you look bad, because you probably didn't even copy it well if you can't even figure out what to do in the first place. Okay, I sound mean. So here we go, keywords. There's a lot of different places to look for keywords in your fly on the wall research here. I'm in the infographic category still, apparently. Let's go back to the marketing translation. So I recommend doing this at every step in the funnel. So right now I am just in my broadest writing category. And if you scroll down, you'll see SEO content that Fiverr has put on their website. This really isn't often for you. Like, let's be honest, the content on most web pages now is not for you. It's it's either to convert you, like it's literally meant to market to you, convince you, convert you, which is like really for them, let's be honest. Or it's meant for SEO and a space to put keywords. It's meant to like add authority to the website so that people will find the website, but rarely is that content actually meant for you to read and get something out of it. My writing perspective is that you can do both of those things successfully. You can write content for people that actually is helpful to them and actually gives them information and actually improves their experience while also helping SEO and keywords there. Everything's an ad, and everything that you think is for you is not for you. So we're looking for keywords in their FAQ section. Also in their, this is not so much what I'm talking about because this is just giving you access to the lower categories of the umbrella. Helpful to see that this kind of thing, these bubbles, often give you ideas for keywords because they're not just categories. They are like things that people would be searching for in order to get to the service that they need. And that's what you're looking for. Like, that's the work Fiverr has done that you can leverage from them. So why is Love Advisors related to website content? Tell me. But specifically, like marketing funnels experts, I'm thinking that marketing funnels expert is a search term that people are searching for, and then they're ending up in website content, and then they're ending up finding a person. So if you are writing marketing funnels, it might make sense for you to put marketing funnels experts in your gig as a keyword, because Fiverr clearly is seeing enough traffic here or enough whatever to make space on their website to put that word. That's kind of what I'm trying to show you. Also, they're kind of building this out. They had a new, this like forum. I mean, they've really reworked the forum, but now they're calling it like Fiverr Answers. And again, I think it's really more, it's not about you. Sorry, it's not for you. It's not about you. It's so that they can have kind of a Reddit equivalent of search question answer type of content to pull more traffic. directly onto Fiverr via Fiverr for Fiverr. And then they're pitching it as you, the seller, can use this as an opportunity to show your expertise and that you can really you can get some of that attention. It's not about you. It's not for you. You can probably use it to your advantage. I'm not saying you can't, but it's not about you. Okay, so now let's go product descriptions one more level smaller. And as you get smaller and smaller, if I'm right, and it still works the way it used to, you'll see that, yeah, it gets more keyword specific here. So more product description services, even like e-commerce stores product descriptions is a thing people are searching for to get product description writing services. Here, the smaller you get, the more the keywords matter. So saying like product page descriptions, which as I list these out, I would do these anyway, versus product descriptions. Also product details pages would be a different way to say that. Just general marketing copy, right, is a way to describe. We have good product descriptions. Product pages, which we haven't. It was product page description before. So as you pull through here, you can even referencing, for example, product specifications might be a valid keyword to put in your gig descriptions. Again, writing product descriptions. My cynical knowing kind of the back end of writing and what briefs are and what the purpose of this content is, writing product descriptions is likely functioning as a keyword. And whether that was one that they explicitly had on a list that they wanted to include in here, or the writer of this copy decided that would be another variable way to describe what is going on. I mean, they're not just saying product descriptions, product descriptions, product descriptions. That's already on the page. There's no need to repeat this. I mean, they do, clearly. But the point here is to get as much breadth and spread over the way that people are searching for things in order to end up here. Because the only way people can find you at this point in time is for you to have those keywords as you're saying, this is what I do, and Google says this is what someone wants, and then they put them together. Freelance product description writer. There is a world in which you could have said something much more simple, much more human, right? A way that you would genuinely describe this question. I would not walk up to someone and say, why is hiring a freelance product description writer worth the money? Freelance product description writer is a keyword. Are we seeing that clearly? Can I stop talking? Clearly, I'm not feeling inspired by this journey, but I hope you are, again. And many of the things that are like no shit to me, because I've just been doing this so long and I've seen so many iterations of it, might be new to you. And that's kind of what I'm trying to express. Let's take a look for a sec and just talk through more than anything at the, is that what I want? Yeah. Your seller page. So, I assume all people can do this, but setting your name and then your username. Carrieblogger has been me forever since they've allowed this feature. Carrie French, I put my actual name on here. I feel like it offers a little more human trust, like a real professional person you'd be hiring, not just like an alias. I would encourage you to do that. And I will admit right now in this 12-hour long video, that it's really hard to do this for yourself. It's hard even as a writer, even as someone who helps other brands develop, even as someone who in the past has offered freelance strategy, like consulting on other sellers and other creative people to help them like pitch themselves and be authentic to them and come up with even like strategic ideas of what they could offer, etc. It is always harder for you. Or maybe it's not. Maybe that's a me thing. It's always harder for me. And I am a writer and this is what I do, and it's still hard. So don't beat yourself up for that. Trying to not beat myself up for that. Just think about who you want to be and then back that up with the facts of the things you do that prove that's what you are. Did that sound meta enough for you? So things like authentic, honest, collaborative, human. I think I'm pretty I don't know, compassionate doesn't really seem, I was going to say true to me. That's not. See, this is why it's hard, because I say something about myself and I'm instantly like, oh, that's kind of loaded. I don't know. I would say attentive, maybe more compassionate. Compassionate's like a soft emotional word, right? But like attentive is like, that implies like punctual and like detail oriented. I would say that my writing style specifically is conversational and very brand specific. Yeah, I'm like excited to learn, I would say. I have been doing like years of experience. Like I've been around the block, kind of like trusted. I don't know, maybe not trust, like strategy is important, like thinking about the whole picture from like the brand's perspective and SEO implications and like customer experience or even like reader. I often like to like think of it as a reader versus a customer, which I know is like, I'm kind of anti-business. Honestly, I'm kind of anti-marketing. I'm kind of anti-capitalism. I don't like that I'm like feeding this machine to like sell stuff and make money and whatever. To me, it's like the person reading the copy and doing the shopping is a person. Like they're a person, and I don't like calling them customers. It's like, I don't know, they're giving their time to read something and hoping they find something, which is part of that, like everything's an ad and like this isn't meant for you, which just like grinds my gears because it's like pitched to you like it is, but it's not. Okay, so like take some time, think about what your brand is. Are you the cutthroat conversion king who's gonna demand attention and generate sales and skyrocket your success? Like if that's you, go off. That's good. Like Dion, for example, who I mentioned earlier, is like an example of that. And that's not me, not me. And that's fine. We have very different styles, serve very different customers for very different outcomes. And his brand is that, and my brand is not. So whatever your brand is for you and yourself, think about, I would encourage you not only the kind of thing that you think will convert, right? The thing that you think, this is so, the thing that you think people will be searching for is important. The thing people have a need of is important. The thing that is going to be the most convincing for them to choose you, for example, is important. But I would say even more important is the thing that will attract the work you want to do. So for me, knowing myself, knowing my style, knowing the things that are like creative fulfilling, the things that I know I do my best work on and I give the best results for, is not the like high pressure, must convert, sales funnel, clicky, pushy, like that's not my best work. So why in the world would I market myself as skyrocket your success for a high converting funnel? Because that's not the work I want to attract, because it's not the work I want to do. And again, I know I come from a position of privilege that over the years I've had the time and experience to kind of hone and generate and build a business that is like true to me. And if you're starting out, you might feel this panic that you have to conform to that if the top most, if you see like Dion is killing it and he said he's making $1 billion a year, and you're like, well, I have to do that. I have to be this high converting sales funnel guy. And again, no shade to Dion. Like I don't mean to use him as in any way a bad example. It's just different. I encourage you to not feel pressured to do that. And I hope I'm kind of a case study that there is a world in which, again, if you take control of the things you can control, you can build a business and promote yourself as a creative that is authentic to you. And I think through that authenticity ultimately delivers the best results for your customers, your buyers, so we can all make more money. I'm specifically within this, like, I'm going to be an anti-AI focus. And I think I I want to be like kind of clear about that, especially again, because I want to attract people who resonate with that and who value human writing, who value human focused perspectives, not just the fastest, not the cheapest, not the most speak to everyone. I want it to be that like human centered customization, kind of like personalization, and specific to your story. Like that comes from me, and that's for, oop, my hands got off on my keys, like for you. So again, I know this is my example. Your example will look different, especially in different categories, obviously. But take some time and kind of just like give a draft of who you want to be presenting yourself as. And then we work backwards from there of, okay, if this is what I want to be, then what kind of promises am I going to make? Is it going to be the fastest, cheapest? Is it going to be the most accurate? Is it going to be the most original? Is it going to be the most familiar? Like that also is a value, you know, the familiarity. I feel like I'm not saying that word right. That is a style that there's a need for and a want for. And if that's you, if you feel like you could be a kind of a chameleon to kind of fit inside of existing things, hey, that would be a promise you would make, you know? Genuine style stuff. I think genuine is also kind of a good word for what I do. It reads genuinely to the brand, to the reader. Yeah. Okay. Pain points and questions is an important thing to kind of start predicting. For example, a common pain point for me in the past, and is still going to be a thing, is like, do you offer discounts? Right. Price is too high. That's a consistent thing. And again, I'm choosing to do that because it implies a level of authority to be priced at a certain price point. Like clients have said that to me over the years. Like, I know you get what you pay for. I'm going to pay for what I want to get. That is communicated through that. And your pricing also reflects on you. And like, whatever, I feel like you don't need to talk too much more about that. Things like, do I work with it? Capital. Ding. Work with a team, or is it not autocorrecting? Or integrate with a team? Like, how can I help implement? And part of the thing on Fiverr that I do offer to off-platform clients is I am more like, we can have weekly meetings, we can talk strategy. I'm happy to like be a strategic resource to help like develop things over time that I don't offer on Fiverr, because that's just not the kind of like relationship that I have with the buyers here, or have had in the past, I should say. And so my work really does like start with the brief and it stops with delivery, typically. And there's more work on the buyer side by just hiring a freelancer to do like a task, and they might hire another one to do a task, and it's really their job to put it all together. So that's kind of a pain point, which if I wanted to solve that pain point, I could, and you could say I should, sure. But that I think is like a realistic pain point that I have. So your job is to figure out what are the pain points, what are the questions people are having about you specifically when they're seeing your brand for yourself, your focus, your promises. What are they going to come back to you at and say, I'm not sure about this? You know, for example, the discounts thing, like anti-AI, and an instant thing is like, it's going to take too long, it's going to be too expensive. What's the point? And to that I say, Either I will kind of educate you on my, value and what I do, and or then we're just not right for each other. And if you want it fast and cheap and AI sloppy, then there's lots of options. And that's no fault to you, no fault to me. It's just not a good fit. Same Carrie, different day. One thing I didn't mention when I was filming this ranty rant, an idea for you here is to ask someone who is like adjacent to you, but maybe not like your partner or your mom or whoever, like who knows more intimately what you do. So ask somebody who's maybe an acquaintance, if they could take 15, 20 minutes and like walk through the process of looking through your account. Maybe even 15 is too long, 5 minutes. Walk through your account and have them ask you all of the questions that they come up with. Like, especially if they really don't know that much about it, because think that there are going to be times that a buyer is going to order from you and really not know what they need or what they offer. They just know, for example, that they need a website developer and they're like, I don't know anything. That's why I'm hiring you. So if you can have a friend or an acquaintance walk through who really doesn't know anything about website development, and they can say, I really don't know anything about this, but I'm looking at you and I'm running into all these questions. I'm running into, what is a website segment? I don't know what that means, but like you're pricing by that. What does that mean? That might not be something that you've thought of before, but that they can help pick up on. Or for example, they're like, hey, I see that you put here that you don't work with a team, but there's something else over here about like integrating, and I don't really know what that means. That also might be something that you didn't pick up on. And the other thing is it can help them, knowing you in real life a little bit, help to connect the dots between like, whoa, you said XYZ, like that's kind of shocking. That's a surprise. And either that's a thing that they didn't know about you in real life, or that might not be super genuine to you. And having that person to kind of like test run, or like, it's kind of like in a restaurant does like a soft launch or a soft opening, and they have people come in who they know will be kind to them, but also like give them some feedback about like bumps in the road of what's not working right in their restaurant flow process. It's kind of the same idea with them walking through your portfolio with your profile and giving you some ideas and feedback that you might not see because you are blind to yourself because you wrote it and you had yourself in mind. But they're obviously going to be nicer than a customer, and it's less low stress or even no stress because they're not actually choosing to hire you or not. So ask somebody to walk through and see what they have to say. Good luck. Okay, intro video. I should figure out how can the seller intro video be. I assume it's like 60 seconds. Okay. 20 to 60 seconds. Good to know. Tell your name. We highly recommend including English subtitles. Okay. This is so funny. Hello. I can't even say hello. Hello, I'm Carrie, and I'm passionate about writing. With 12 years of experience specializing in writing, I've dedicated myself to delivering exceptional results in writing. I mean, it's not bad. It's good. That's funny. They're showing you how to dress yourself. Again, all of this is like genuinely helpful, I think. Okay, yeah, so this is something that's kind of new that it seems like they're kind of being pushy on. Don't show your freelance level stars, etc., freelance badge, because it's much more flexible than it used to be in the past. Like being a top rated seller originally was a thing that you earned and was yours. And that is no longer the case. This is funny because this is like such a vibe. Like they say don't do that, but that's a vibe. If that was you, if that was your art style, and that was you, like this moody kind of neon whatever, because we don't all have to be like corporate robots, This is cool. And again, you do you. You be authentic to you. Okay, my question is, it does need to be horizontal, it looks. Yep, landscape. Okay, so we've done all of this. We're on what, hour 12? And that's all just background. Like that's planning, strategy, ideating. Let's have another sip of tea in my raccoon mug. It's completely cold now, for the record. Yay. Ugh, that's brutal. Okay. We haven't even got to the gig pages yet. So there's a whole discussion I'm going to skip which I have other gigs about how to decide what to sell. So that is its own beast to slay. What gig should you be offering? In a nutshell, my best advice, which again, find other videos. If you go find a video and you think like, oh, that must be the one she was talking about, please comment that link in a comment down below to help somebody else out. You need to find things that are authentic to you. Say it with me, authentic to you. Things that you are skilled in. Duh. But really things that you feel wrapped together as a cohesive service provider is kind of my serious best advice. So thinking about kind of being a one-stop shop, but within one realm. Gigs. I have 4 that are technically up and live and accepting orders. February has been really slow. January, I kind of had like a nice little with a couple repeat buyers that like quickly repeated buying. February has been very slow, and I have not done a lot to care about that. I should tell you. Okay, so I'm currently signed up for Seller Plus, which I think is a $40 subscription a month, which is dumb for so many reasons. And I will be closing it after this video. Okay. And within here, all they've done is they've just put marketing tool stuff behind a paywall. I think offering coupons is useless. I'm sure you can use it, and I'm sure people have. I personally think it's useless. Follow-up messages, I don't even know like if it looks different to them or whatever, but no, stop. Offering a discount for first-time buyers, you can just do that with a custom offer, and like, unless, no, don't do that. Like, I don't know. So the actual tools that they're using, I think, are pretty useless. The things that are kind of helpful or could be helpful, this dumb AI personal assistant I made a video about, I trained it and tried it for one message and it botched it. And I was like, no. You, I guess, can get a free membership of Creative Live, which they acquired, and now their Fiverr Learn courses are also on Creative Live. Like, you can get my copywriting course on Creative Live. So I guess you could try that for a month. This is what scares me and is originally like where I decided to sign up for it, but I just cannot eat that and feel decent about it. Having like priority response to help support, like customer support, is important and can make you feel like at least you have someone who like might kind of be on your side. But also, I haven't talked to customer support in 2 years and I don't have high hopes. So whatever. The negative keywords thing, which we'll see when I go through my gig in a sec, is theoretically helpful and important, but I don't actually think it would be worth paying $40 a month for. So I would encourage you, like, don't let that be your thing if you're on the fence. You can choose reviews to feature. I haven't even seen that. I mean, I've known that was a feature, but I didn't know. How do I do it? Select reviews. Advanced settings. I have not seen that. I'm so curious if I even have access to that. That's so weird. Okay, I'll get back to that in a sec. Sure, I guess selecting reviews to highlight would be good, but like all of your reviews, whatever. Okay. And then they just have a bunch of like generic webinar stuff. I'm sure you can find pretty much the same advice on YouTube. So again, if you're on the fence, if you're like, I don't know if it's worth it, but they give you some tips and insights, you can find this stuff on YouTube for free. If that's the reason you're going to do it, don't. Okay, so they do give you a lot of, not even a lot probably. They give you some. This used to be visible. I hate that this is a paywall now. Is it not available on? Also, I feel like the way that they've restructured this menu does not make sense anymore. Okay. It does show it still. So why is it like pretend like it's behind a paywall? Yeah, there was no orders in the past month, so that's why. So even if you don't sign up for Fiverr Plus, you can see this under your active gigs if you click on the actual like name of the gig, which I feel like the like UI for this, the user interface is not very user friendly. It doesn't really help. Here also is where you can limit orders in queue, especially if you have high volume, which let's hope. And you don't want to be super overwhelmed. This doesn't work perfectly, but you can make it auto pause when you have too many orders at once. You can see your impressions, clicks, and orders and conversion rate. So like this, I think, was the one that had a order this month. Which one did I have an order for? Was it this one? It was this one. Okay. See, like, this UI is so bad. I literally am getting stuck. Okay. Ta-da! Here's my one. Woo! Conversion rate. So it looks like it is hidden behind a paywall in here, and it's the same. You just have to do the graph shittier on here. So again, if that was why you were going to spend $40 a month on basically nothing, don't, because you don't have to. Let's get back to the point here. Okay. So the gig performance itself, that data is already elsewhere. It just tells you your orders, which you can do yourself. Top keywords. Let's see. Your conversion rate, click through, you could technically do that math yourself if you didn't want to pay. Why is this like a top performing keyword? That's insane to me. So like product description, I would probably take out friendly for like an actual keyword here, but that's worth having this variation. Again, these are like variations if it was lower down in Fiverr's copy that they needed to have even wider like net for keywords here. But having SEO product description for Shopify specifically, I put Shopify in like my keyword things because I wasn't super competing for Amazon, just because I don't know, I'm kind of off Amazon stuff. I do that for my off Fiverr clients, but I don't typically love doing it. Maybe I should again, I don't know. SEO, sales SEO. SEO product description writer, SEO product description for Shopify. These are not that hard to figure out. And I guess technically if you wanted to get really into your data, you're like, oh, SEO product description is the number one for clicks, but also there were only 4 clicks. So this data is so small that it's like, is this really the most useful thing? You probably could have figured this out yourself. Oh, that's not even true. I read it backwards. No, I didn't. Numbers, man. Numbers don't work for me very well. Impressions wise, so like I have more impressions for SEO product description for Shopify, but SEO product description itself gets more clicks. This is useless, in my opinion. This is too in the weeds. You can bother with it if you want, if you're better than me, which you are, right? I don't need to sit here and stew over whether I should put website content writer or website content or content writer. They're all the same fucking thing, right? Keyword research. Again, website copywriting, website content writer, SEO copywriting, website content, SEO website content, SEO website content writer. Maybe this is just because I'm a writer and like I'm familiar with keywords. I'm familiar with this is so dumb to me. And again, maybe just to me, I'm like, I live in this world all the time that I think people's obsession with keywords, like they are important and they are needed, but it's like, just use some common freaking sense. If I offer website content, yeah, it would make sense to describe myself as a website content writer. It would also make sense to describe what I am selling, which is website content. It would also make sense to describe what I do, which is website copywriting. SEO is a big part of website content, so writing SEO website content also seems pretty freaking logical. All I'm saying is that, again, if this is why, and there's not enough data, so that's great. I'm so canceling this instantly. If this information is why you think that you have to pay for this service, you don't. That's all I'm saying. Here's a look at my statistics if you care. And I'm moving on. Okay, gig page. Here we go. Before I got so distracted. So I have 4 gigs that are live and technically up. And then I have 2. Nope. Yeah, I have 2 over here. I said in a previous video, don't delete your old gigs. Don't do it. Just pause them. I used to delete them and then would be really mad at myself when I inevitably needed something back that I was like, why did I do that? So I have 2 more that I haven't done work on yet because I just could not muster it in me, you know? So I'll show you, I guess, one that I haven't done, and then we'll work through it. Okay. So the first impression on the title, it needs to be paired with the image. We've already talked about that ad nauseum. So write an authentic about us page. Authentic is my word I'm trying to pull from my little personal brand. And I also put team bios in here because A, it's a different keyword, and it gives another opportunity to kind of refine the vibe of what people are looking for. Make sure that your metadata is correct. Content type, bio, and about us. So here, for example, about us, technically about us is covered within the keyword about us page, but I put it there as well. Biography writer is not really ideal. I probably should change that because I'm not writing people's biographies. Real estate bio I put in there because that was common in the past of people needing those team bios specifically for real estate teams. Going back to website copywriting, because that's where you put it. I guess I will pull from this dumb keyword list. Bio writer. I might change this to about us writer. Notice that even if it doesn't pop up one, you can do that. Just put a enter and it'll work. And then I'll put, I don't know, you can see what other people put. So like about me, I guess that's an autofill. I will autofill that. Again, the site design is like so bad. Why did it jump me to the top of the screen? I don't know. I don't like about us writer. I already have about us and I have about us. I could put about snot. That's good. About page. Okay. I feel like I'm being so negative and I'm so sorry because I started this video pretty positively. You're seeing me devolve in real time. Okay. So we have about us, about me, about page. Website copywriting, as in that was a high ranking keyword. That's where you're putting it. That's what it's for. I'm not using my negative keywords because I'm going to cancel Seller Plus anyway. My camera stops every 30 minutes. So this is proof that I've been here for way too long. I haven't eaten lunch yet and it's afternoon. I'm starving. Yeah, I literally don't have access to that like choose featured reviews. So like why are they pitching that as a feature in Seller Plus if it's not even available? Okay. This is where I got stuck last time. And it really pisses me off. And I shouldn't be, but I am. They've changed this. And I've lived through several pricing, setup, change, whatevers. Like I said, when I first started, it was $5 Fiverr. And everything was in $5 increments. And then it was whatever. It changed. Now they're demanding that you have to do what they say for the basic package. Like, for example, you cannot offer keyword research for a basic package. Our data shows that it makes your package less attractive to buyers. I don't care. I know what my buyers want and I know like what I've done and what people ask for. What do you mean your data shows? It's my business and my package. You cannot offer competitor research. Okay. I mean, in this case, I don't want to, but I would like the choice to. Excuse me. You have to offer 500 words minimum. So there's just I just literally can't sell. Like, I mean, sure, you can sell it. You can make a custom offer. I can't list anything with less than 500 words, which is annoying. It's annoying. Because then this happens. And I know that they want more like streamlined standardization on basic packages because they're showing basic package price, and they don't want it to be that people feel duped of, it says, from 160, and you're like, yeah, that covers 20 words. Good luck. And everyone else is selling 500. I get it, but it just makes my job harder. So, when you're setting, again, I'm just like walk through here, enjoy my brain. When you're doing pricing, it's really important in my mind to make sure that your pricing is modular and scalable, specifically for custom offers, but also so that customers understand, like in an explainable way, what they're getting. And you might choose to price per hour, which is not typical, but they are like now offering that you can hire someone per hour. I don't price per hour, I price per project. And when I do that, the math that I do in my head is how long I think it's going to take me to do that. So reverse engineering it, I can come up with what my like price per hour would be, which when I'm on Fiverr, I try to aim for $100 an hour, like minimum threshold. And that means that some of the projects that I do will go quick, and they can be, that was a $550 an hour thing, and I just, and it was super easy, and it was fun, and I just like, or it can be, wow, that took me a lot longer than I thought it did, and it was really about, $45 an hour, just because I really was like, I was stuck creatively, or it was more complicated than I was kind of expecting when I quoted. So there is some variability in that, and it's up to you to know your workflow and your process in order to predict how long things will take you when you price per project. But I also think that it, again, goes back to that ROI focus on pricing, and especially if you're trying to price high or price equitably or whatever, because it ultimately depends what the client gets and what they can do with it, not how long you sat at your computer to make it happen. That's like my approach. I don't think a customer should care, honestly, if it took me 1 hour or it took me 7 hours. If the end result is exactly the same, they're paying for an end result and they're paying for a project. And it's up to me to manage my time and creative output to make sure that that can happen on a schedule that then, stays on schedule, is whatever. Rant. Okay. So within that modular scalability, for example, sure, transparency, whatever, I'll just do this. I price flat at $1 per word, or if it's for blogs, I've been doing 80 cents per word, I think, which, again, is high. You'll find people who do less than a penny a word, This is kind of how I have to generate it to make sure that it's modular and makes sense. So like a keyword included is $5, which isn't that I research that keyword, it's that I include the keyword, because that is a hurdle. Like having to, especially if they're clunky, oh my god, just like that is grinding my creativity into dust, is trying to work in really specific or clunky keywords into the text in a way that is SEO friendly, but most importantly reader friendly. So that's why that's like charged for. Including bullet points, which isn't irrelevant in this gig, but like knowing that if someone wanted a custom offer, knowing how I would price bullet points specifically as I like build it up or break it down from the packages that are listed here. Like for example, this was dumb. In the product descriptions, it's like mandatory that I include titles, which I don't like naming. I don't want titles for stuff. And that depends partially on like the platform that it's on. Like an Amazon title is completely different than like a Shopify title. Or are they talking about like the title of the product, as in like this is the Bridget pant? Like that can be a product title or a product name. I don't like that it's required. It makes me feel like stuck, and I don't like that. And then revision, I price as, so 15 minutes is free, like kind of complimentary. And then, did I not write down? Sorry, like I said, I'm fading. My ability to talk and do at the same time is going downhill. If you're still here, you're my actual hero. You know that. Okay, so one round of revision covers up to 15 minutes, which is, okay, so it's 15 minutes, $15 for add-on. So like having that as a structure is important to make sense. I want my pricing to be consistent across gigs, not only for the custom. Oh, here's the advanced. How come I don't have that on my other one? Is it because it's not live? So here's the request to order for Plus, which is a reason to do Seller Plus, but like not a good enough reason, honestly. It's making me mad. I don't like to be mad. Frustrated. Stuck. Those might be better words. Okay. Like, why can I not include SEO keywords in a basic package for freaking website content? SEO website content is the most searched thing. SEO as in search engine optimized, and I'm not able to include SEO keywords in the package. I put it there anyway, but it's just so stupid. It's like, how little do you think of me as the service provider to like not make that decision myself about like what my customers need, what they want, what I should do? I think I'm the expert about that. What do you mean my data? Our data shows that this will make you whatever. I'm losing it. I honestly don't think I have it in me to like do this live for you in real time. I really thought I would, and I don't. Oh, this is making me literally not want to do it again. This is not good. So I'm going to tell you how to do it, and we'll see if after I go have a lunch break and come back if I can even do this for myself. So pricing. You're looking at your package name, really important. For example, the full about page and summary, explaining like that's a mini brand story as well. Which I think I must have, I don't remember that being in there. I think I only did that because I had to make this more than 500 because this has to be 500. Just me. And then the team builder, about page plus bio. So like the title of the package is important. I encourage you not to just put like bronze, silver, gold or whatever. Like use this just like you have what you can control is your picture and your title. Like you have to use that very limited space for you to tell as much information as you can. So if you just did bronze, standard, gold here, well, that's already basic, standard, premium. Like that was a wasted opportunity. What can you do with what you can control? I feel like I need to talk to myself here because I'm like losing it. I'm losing all hope. And you still have hope, hopefully. So use this space, do what you can control with the space that you are allotted. This is your business. The platform is literally just to facilitate, and screw them beyond that, right? The actual description here is really, really short. So I encourage you to, you have to ultra concisely define exactly what's included for that amount of money. Yes, technically we have these like check boxes down here. In all reality, they're like super useless. They want it to be like a way to compare packages. They're forcing you to have to compare packages like this. In reality, this is what you need to ultra concisely in how I think this is max characters right here. 100 characters. And 100 characters, you need to describe that for $700, they're getting this. That is really hard. I encourage you to write like 6 versions of that package description and see how you can be ultra clear, no question, exactly what's included. And the harder thing, especially if you're not a writer, like that luckily is a strength of mine, you need to also describe what it is you do, not just literally 500 words, 2 keywords, 2 titles, about page. It needs to be the benefit that they're seeing, such as highlight your company's authentic story. Like, that is what they want. And then they also need to know what they get. So what they want and what they're getting all has to be 100 keywords, which I think that is, I've always thought that was insane, that it's so short. And someone's truly deciding to drop $700 and they had 100 characters to know exactly what it is. These extra services on here, remember that this is not visible to clients when they're browsing, which we ran into earlier. You have to see this stuff after you start the ordering process, like you've chosen a package, and then it will like walk you through, do you want this other stuff? So this is important, and I've found over the years that people very frequently will just add something because they feel like they should, or it's like, oh, it's just $15, I'll add an extra revision, and it's like, you already had one included for free, and which they don't end up using, and then you added this one, and it just like turns into a tip for me, which I'm like, cool. And they feel, I guess, good about that. But just know that like this is not as useful as it could be because it's not published on the gig page before someone starts ordering. Which again, if any Fiverr person is out there watching, notice that this is not a buyer-friendly experience, right? It's not a seller-friendly experience, the way that that's set up. They have a subscriptions thing, which I guess, like, yes, turn it on because you should, in theory, use all of the tools that Fiverr is giving you, because it just, I think, creates more opportunities for it to be sorted and whatevered in search. Like if someone was looking for a subscription and you had that turned on your profile, I assume somewhere on the website there's a button where you could filter by subscription services, in which case, again, you are using that as an opportunity to be seen. You're using the space allotted to you to do as much as you have control over. Okay, your description, again, if you are not a writer, good luck. That luckily is my skill, and it's also hard because, again, it's hard to do things for yourself. I'm like, oh my God, this literally is like the ultimate portfolio sample because it's like selling myself, which is so hard to do. Make sure that you have keywords in here as well. And the most important thing, or not most important, make sure you have an FAQ. I use this, again, to like sort through those pain points and the questions that people have as a way to not only answer their question, but also to address their pain point and educate on me and my brand and my style and my process. I think the FAQ is super helpful. And keywords in here as well. Keywords in every part of your gig, everywhere. Talking to the reader in words that they are using to find you. That is kind of a general strategy that then solves SEO for search engines, Google, for example, and SEO not getting in the way of readers. They want to know that you are using the same words that they are using to search for you, if that makes sense. And if it doesn't, that would also, sure. Over here in the requirements section, again, dumb. The Fiverr questions, I just hate that they added 2 questions that's just for them to like steal data. Sure, it's to help us in the long run, whatever, okay. And then your questions afterwards. I need to simplify these. I believe in one of my other ones I did edit my requirements to be a little more clear, which I should have done years ago. There are a couple of these little things that people always were like, I don't know what that means. Like when I would say main purpose behind brand, they were like, I don't know what that means, which I should have rephrased that years ago and I didn't. You need to think in this form, what are all of the questions you need? What is everything you need to ask so that you get exactly what you need? I've said need a billion times to start the work. It is not a good workflow for them to fill out a form like this and then you to come back and say, oh, cool, thanks, I also need XYZ. Because from a customer's perspective, they're like, then you should have asked that in the first place, like when I took all the time to put this together for you. And that's really hard when you have very different packages, and specifically when your projects are pretty diverse. So that will take some refining and kind of working through over time to make sure that you get what you need. And I just encourage you, like, after every order, if you're truly starting out, if you find yourself needing to ask for something from them after the order is started, go back and put that in your requirements and like tweak it and work with it. And if you're finding that people are telling you stuff that's like superfluous and just not necessary, see if there's something in your requirements section that is encouraging them to think that you need to know that when in reality you don't, and it was like a waste of time for them because you want it to be like the most streamlined as possible and give you everything you need. The last thing I recommend is to do, oh, by the way, you can choose required or not, which also helps with the diversity of things. Like I would put required for premium package, which doesn't work perfectly because even though I would put required for premium package, people who purchase a premium package, the site is not sophisticated enough to make it required for that package. Like out of all the things they could do that, you know, they don't. But it's not required for everyone. And so ideally in a perfect world, someone would read that, they would say, oh, I bought the premium package. She needs this extra information from me. And they would answer that. And that didn't always happen, but that is kind of my best workaround for that. And then you can choose required or not. If you want free text, multiple choice attachment, blah, blah, blah. This is really like predicting your workflow and thinking how you can predict. It's all a prediction game and trying to make it as smooth as possible, which is hard. Okay, the last thing I recommend is doing kind of a terms of service kind of agreement with you, which they technically have to do one of those kinds of questions for Fiverr. At least they used to years ago. I need to like do a test order with someone just to walk my way through the buyer process again and see what has changed. I genuinely recommend you should do that. I want to remind them that they have a job as a buyer, especially at a price point like mine. Their job is to know what they're purchasing, to have like done their due diligence to make sure I'm the right fit, to have provided all the information that I need so that like I'm ready to do my job. They've done theirs, I'll do mine. And over the years, I've felt really good about adding this, and it kind of has helped kind of set a tone with the customer. And I don't think there's really any downside to doing it. You don't have to, and it's not required in any way, but I do think it helps kind of set a tone. So that's kind of my secret tip, is I really recommend doing that. For the gallery, so like this, I can't say anymore. It can't be top rated pro verified, which is why that's deleted. I forgot. I think that they just dropped my videos. I couldn't remember if I did or they did, but I don't think so. And again, in the writing category, apparently that's not even really necessary because they don't even freaking show them anymore. They do have a thing about gig image guidelines with, see, the stupid thing is they don't even tell you in here what the sizes are. Like it says it here, recommended 1280 by 769, but it doesn't even show this on the page. So like many of these help pages really are not that helpful. And again, I feel like you can find better stuff on YouTube. We've already talked about general visual style based on competitors. You want 3 images. Always like find a way to fill that carousel. You need a video. Find a way to make a video relevant with you speaking, even if that's a voiceover. I think people hire people. I've said that for years. My customers have told me that. Fiverr has said that their data supports that. People hire people. And if you can feel comfortable promoting yourself in a professional way on camera, ideally, and talking to people and saying like, when you hire me, you're hiring me, and I am excited to do your project for you, and this is why it's going to be a great fit, and like, let's do this. That one-on-one personality thing is really important, and a video does that. Also, again, it's just another tiny little way that you can stand out in search, and when you have that little tiny video icon, that is something you can control that you should do. And documents, again, this probably looks different with different categories, but being able to do PDFs, I only ever had one, but I should do two, and I have to take this off and fix it because it has a link to my website, which I can no longer do. So I'm just gonna delete. Okay. But in a nutshell, general advice, everything you can upload, everything you can fill in, everything you have control over, you should take control of and use that as an opportunity. The last thing I'll say is just the working process thing. I already talked about the order limits, which is a little bit hidden over here in your gigs. Again, you click on the title, which is like so not obvious from the design of this page, and you can click on limit orders and queue. I think even if you aren't currently inundated, you should turn this on. Again, it's not a perfect tool and it's not going to solve everything, but you don't want to be so bombarded that you can't do good work. And if there's even a chance that that could happen, I think just setting that is a good like precursor. So I recommend that. Quick responses also need to kind of take some of your time and attention. John, thanks for the message. We'll use you as an example. Okay, so this little lightning down here, quick response. I need to go through and fix mine from years ago. I have a bunch that are like not relevant anymore or just are out of date and whatever. But I recommend making one for each inquiry, for each individual gig. And you can see an example of this here. I also hate, like, why is this box so small? I hate this. It makes it so hard to like type anything. And on my phone or something, it like gets stuck and I can't even see. Fiverr, figure it out. You're taking 20% of my income. Figure it out, right? Stop being grumpy. Okay, so like here I have, first, can you share some information about your brand and writing needs? I want to make sure it's a good fit. Of course, if this person has sent me a bunch of information about their brand, boop, take it out instant. Like it's easier to take things out of your quick responses than it is to add them in. Because obviously when you add them in, that's the typing you don't want to do and you want to have a response queued up. Having this kind of explaining who I am and what I do. Some links to resources is good. Pointing them to the FAQ and package options on the gig page specifically is good. Opener and closer. It's pretty simple. Also, it's good to have like a delivery message. It's good to have like a, I just got your message, or I got your order, I'm good to go message. It's good to have a spam reply if you're like me. I used to just get so much crap over, will you teach me how to do what you do? And so I made a spam response that's like, sure, go watch my YouTube, get me some AdSense revenue or something. Also, like, if you constantly, this is, first, you should fix your requirements section in your gig. But if you are frequently finding that you are still needing to follow up with people in the order form even, you should make a quick response for that and just like help your future self out by predicting how you can best communicate that to the customer. And with the quick responses, the word here is quick. You will be able to actually reply to them faster and not like I would find myself putting off responding because I knew I had to like take a break and actually respond. Or if I was on my phone in the app, I was like, God, I don't want to have to type all this out. I'll wait till I get back to my computer. And that alone is just a wasted time and opportunity that a quick response can help with a lot. I'm not going to talk about the AI bot right now. I think that's it. I desperately need to take a break. I'm about to die. In making this video, I'm joked that I need to like talk to myself as I'm talking to you, but it truly comes down to like find your brand, find what's authentic, find what you want to do and the work you want to attract, and do that. Like, do that. Take all of the opportunities that you can control, put your effort and energy there, and see what happens. You know, streamline as you go. Don't be afraid to change. And make sure that you are putting your focus and strategy like in a way that makes you feel fulfilled of getting something good done, and not just scrambling out of panic of what you think you have to do because that's what other people are doing necessarily. Just, I don't know, take it as a learning experience and see what happens. So it's lunchtime. I hope you have a fantastic day and good luck.